So welcome back. We've travelled across town to Mirpur, to the offices of Hub Dhaka, and we're going to be meeting Sajid Islam. Now, Sajid is one of the real drivers of the support system for early stage entrepreneurs in Bangladesh. He's an active angel investor and also the guy who set up Hub Dhaka. Today we're going to be talking to him about business model. So let's go in and meet Sajid. So Sajid, thank you for making time to meet with us today. I understand that you're an active angel investor.
Yes.
And also you're the guy who set up Hub Dhaka.
That's correct.
So could you tell us a little bit more about yourself? How did you get into investing?
So when I returned to Bangladesh in 2013, obviously I returned to basically be part of the startup ecosystem that was growing.
Okay.
And as I was as I was working in the ecosystem, I realized there are opportunities and not enough investors. And I, being a guy who is from tech and who has worked in the Valley, I saw opportunities that I was ready to fund.
Yeah.
And I would be a fool to miss.
So how many businesses have you invested in, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, sure. So far I've invested in 2 businesses, and right now I'm doing a due diligence on the 3rd one.
And what I'd really like to talk to you about, Sajid, is about business model.
Yes.
So when a entrepreneur comes to you looking to raise investment, as an investor, what do you look at when you're assessing their business model? What are the things which are important to you?
First and foremost, I think, is have they done some customer validation? Have they spoken to their prospective customer, or have they segmented their users? Do they know who they're selling to?
And when you say segmenting their users, what do you mean by that?
I mean, it could be, who are their users, right? And what's the age group? Is it male, female? What's the income range? So, you could have a business that could touch, 5 different segments, right? It could be male, female. Do they have they created personas? I think personas would probably be a better term to use.
Yeah.
I mean, do they know them?
Oh, and why is that important?
It's very, very important. I mean, you cannot do anything without creating a persona. If someone's trying to tell me that, they're trying to build this business, trying to sell to someone without creating a, persona, and I will use that term from going forward, it's just a recipe for disaster. It's just a disaster waiting to happen. Just walk away.
Can you explain why?
Well, I mean, you need to know who you're selling to. That will tell you, what kind of message you need to send out. There is no one-size-fits-all message. So depending on the user, depending on if it's a female, you need to position it a certain way, and depending on the age, if it's you need to message the same way. The design has to be differently, so it has to be attractive, right?
So be really clear about who your customer is, so you can then design your product, your service to meet the needs of that customer.
Yeah, you should have a laser focus, and you need to be as clear as possible. If you could narrow it down to say at one particular age, that's fabulous. If not, you should do 18 to 20, but don't have it something like 18 to 38. That's a big range, right? You should have, you should know what kind of education they have. Have they graduated high school, or are they in high school? Be as specific as possible, but you must know your user.
And then another word which is value proposition. So presumably that's also important to you.
It very much is value proposition. I mean, why should they care? I mean, I'm sure if it's your business, everyone everyone needs it. But why should the other person care? What is it that the business is going to do, the idea is going to do, the product is going to do that's going to change their life? Is it going to make their life more bearable? Is it going to take them from point A to point B faster? Is it going to save them money? What's the value? Why would
presumably you want to see that validated in some way.
Correct. I mean, before we invest, or before I invest, we must make sure that they know what they're doing, right? And also it helps you to find your roots, your base, and so that you don't get lost along the way. Because oftentimes, as you run a business, you get a lot of different offers, a lot of different proposals, a lot of different partnerships. You need to always be clear as to what the value you're trying to deliver, and always reflect back and follow that.
And do you have any sort of practical tips for entrepreneurs who are looking to validate their value proposition? How do they actually practically go about doing that?
I think talk to your prospective customers. Even if you don't have a product, that's fine. Talk to them as if you already have one. Identify them, research it, talk to them as much as possible. Get out of the building. Oftentimes we get caught up with building the software, trying to polish the software to the nth time, and not actually leave the building. Right? Stay within our comfort zone and ask our friends and family.
Yeah.
Of course, our friends and family are going to validate it and they're going to give a thumbs up. Stay away. Talk to people who don't like you and ask them questions. Right? Talk to strangers, but ask the right questions. Don't ask lead-on questions like, "Hey, would you buy this product?" Because that's a very misleading answer. They're just going to say yes just to get rid of you. Ask questions like, find their pain points. Right? Figure out what is it that's missing. And then you would kind of get some very good answers, and based on those answers you can move forward.
That's great. Okay, so we know who our customer is, we know the value that we're delivering to the customer. Presumably the next bit is, how do you reach out and how do you promote your product to your customer and how do you deliver it?
So that would probably be your go-to-market strategy, right? And depending on the market you're in, it varies. Social media is there, but again, don't just rely on social media. You should find ways to attract your user target base, maybe have events or go to where your users are, right? You should probably, if it's students, you want to go to universities or places where they hang out. But then again, don't just blindly go into universities, because it might be university students who loves cricket. That means you need to go to a certain venue where university students go and watch cricket, right? So those are things you need to identify. Again, it goes back to know your users. Once you know your users, you know where they hang out, and when you know where they hang out, you can easily go and fish for them.
But having a coherent plan for reaching out and engaging with your customers is...
Exactly, it's very crucial, because early on you have very limited resource. You don't have X million dollars to spend on all these things. You cannot just pray and pray. You have very limited resource, so you must have a roadmap of how you are going to reach out, where you are going to go, so that you could maximize your resources.
And presumably, as an investor, you're going to want to know how the business is going to make money from the customers as well.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, who doesn't want to know? I mean, if you're going to put some money in, and what would be the return? I mean, you don't want to, invest in a sinking ship. So you want to know what's their plan. They may not be profitable now, or they may not be profitable 6 months from now, but there should be a roadmap, a plan to reach that point. Whether it's through more customers, or whether it's through increasing revenue, more partnerships, whatever it is, there has to be a plan in place.
Well, thank you. That's some really interesting insights and some good tips about how entrepreneurs should present their business model to investors like yourself.